to Rectec Reels. Today we're talking to Alex at inploi, and we're going to be asking him all around candidate engagement. So Alex, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name's Alex. I'm the co-founder and Chief Technology and Product Officer at inploi.
Perfect. Okay, so I've got a few questions for you, as you know. So starting with the first one, throwing you in the deep end a little bit. Why is candidate experience so important when it comes to talent acquisition?
Well, I think it's important to think about who these candidates are. It's very easy to treat people as clicks and just look at funnel metrics, but really everyone who is applying for a job with a company could actually end up being a consumer of your brand, whether that's someone coming into a restaurant, it's someone walking into a supermarket. All of these people could be consumers. So first and foremost, your brand reputation is on the line. And if you're not treating your candidates in the same way that you treat your consumers, you're damaging that brand. So generally, that's an incredibly important aspect to it. But secondly, it's an incredibly competitive labor market at the moment. And for companies to get ahead in hiring, I think they have to provide an experience that candidates expect. You know, candidate expectations are much higher than ever before. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this, but the next generations of the workforce, you know, Gen Z, Alpha, even millennials, you know, developed very finely tuned bullshit filters, and they expect authenticity. They expect an engaging experience with a brand. And if companies aren't able to provide that, then candidates will look elsewhere. So it's important if you want to get ahead in hiring.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, so next question is, where do most organizations fail when it comes to candidate experience?
I mean, there's two ways you could look at this. I mean, there's the sort of the overview of candidate experience and kind of the way that you approach that. And generally, I think it's not given the attention that it deserves. I mean, I think too many companies prioritize talent acquisition and attraction over the experience. You're worrying about getting people into the top of your funnel, not worrying about what happens in the funnel and at the end of the funnel. So I think that's kind of a holistic way of looking at it. But perhaps across each stage, I think there's all sorts of issues. I mean, it's when you're generating awareness for your brand, I think there's issues with the way that you talk to candidates online. You know, often advertising isn't, it's not customized, it's not personalized. Candidates are receiving something that doesn't feel like it's designed for them, and they're seeing it on a platform in a way that might not resonate with them. So there's issues with awareness. When there's discovery, it's like often job search, for example, on your careers hub is not optimized properly for mobile. It's difficult to get to the content that you need. When it comes to engagement, things like web accessibility, often careers experiences are not marked up for web accessibility standards. So someone who has some form of neurodivergence, which by the way is 1 in 7 of the future of the workforce of this country, are unable to access the content that they need. And then moving through into like conversion. So how do you apply for a job? On mobile, often it takes way too long. It's like a big clunky form that asks you for a CV. You know, candidates are dropping off at that point. And then finally, you know, the retention piece. Through that funnel, you want to be creating this emotional contract with a candidate. And often what happens is you're not communicating. You're not sending them a message. You're not sending them an email saying your application's being considered. You know, so those communications through the process ultimately result in a better candidate and ultimately more retention. So that's a long-winded way of saying the problem is holistic, but if you dig into each stage of the funnel, there's all sorts of places that companies can improve.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Okay, and the final question is, are there any quick wins for anyone who's watching this that may want to up their game when it comes to candidate experience?
Be personal, be human. I think we're moving into a space on the internet where we've been through this kind of crazy world of people are being treated as clicks online. And actually, if you start behaving in a more human way, in a way that I think people are going to crave, particularly with the advent of AI, and that's a whole other conversation, I think creating a candidate experience that talks to candidates as people and communicates them with a way that perhaps is personal to them. So if you understand their digital footprint, are you able to welcome them back to your careers hub? Are you able to provide an experience that makes them feel welcome in your online community rather than just treating everyone in exactly the same way? So I think my parting remark would be, we think the future of hiring is personal. You need a candidate experience that can live up to that.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Alex. And don't forget, if you're in the market for recruitment tech and want to take advantage of our comparison platform, you can register for free today at rectec.io.